Loading complete.
I don't know what podcasting's supposed to be.
You don't understand podcasting.
I've been doing it for years and I still don't know.
Oh, well, what you do is you get on the internet.
Have you done that?
Yeah, we're on the internet.
Okay.
So we got that part down. You're talking to a microphone.
I don't know if I'm doing that either.
Where you're talking and there's a microphone. You see that the mute button's not on?
Okay.
Okay, and you can see the levels, so you know
I
we're
thought I
on.
was talking into the pop filter, but I guess that's closer to you.
Yeah, see from your angle.
Okay.
Here's my angle. See, I get the pop filter. You don't get shit. That's how this works.
It's my life.
Oh my god, guys, this is the reset button for... I don't even know what the month is. May 16th, 2017.
It's 15th.
So I'm Patrick. This is Eric.
You got the date wrong. Just like my diploma.
No, it's going to be the 16th when the official recording comes out.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're lying to the audience.
I'm lying because if you aren't here during the live recording, then that's on you.
Yeah.
Too bad for you.
Fair enough, but then that sounds like you're punishing the live audience with lies.
They're punished enough by watching this.
There's no winning with you. Anyway.
There is none. I don't like to. I don't like to be fair.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Well, that was an oxymoron. Good job.
I did my job.
Oh, God. Oh, let's see. Just really quick, Stev says, I've been on this specific podcast like 3 times, so I know how it goes. And you're still alive, I see. That's good.
You poor bastard. It's a lot worse now that I'm here. As it goes. But I'll make it better because he's not here today. So,
yeah.
I am.
Yeah, this guy's here, the other guy's not. So everything's going to be much better this go around. So the topic we were talking about, and we were going to dive in here, you actually brought this up. Mm-hmm. But like the statistics for like these impossible to beat games from software, the Dark Souls series, are actually, according to the stats, quite beatable.
They're more than quite beatable. The stats are higher on completion rates for that than a lot of other games. The stats are higher for Dark Souls 3 than they are for Red Dead Redemption. Okay? I've heard for a long, long time to people who are not in the community of Dark Souls that, oh, that game's too hard, I'm too scared to touch it. And then you hear the people who are into Dark Souls and they're all very smug. And they pretend it is the hardest thing in the world. No one could get into it. You need to be punished if you want to play these games. But they beat it. So that makes me ask you, what the hell does hard mean? What does impossible mean? Because I hear those words thrown around for games that are... I'm not going to call Dark Souls easy, but I am going to say it is something that you can learn with patience. But people have taken that and turned it into impossible, no one will ever be able to beat it. And then they beat it. And they tell everyone else, oh, I beat it, but you'll never beat it. I don't get it.
Right. I've run into that, actually. I'm not going to name any names because they're friends of mine, but in terms of it, I would talk about how I felt when I tried, say, Dark Souls 2 for the first time, because I was completely lost with it.
Well,
got torn to pieces. That aside, I got torn to pieces when I first tried it out, and I had someone say, oh, well, that's the easier Dark Souls game before 3 came out. That was just like, that doesn't make me feel any better, thanks.
There's a smugness. There's a proudness of being able to feel like you achieved something that no one else can. I don't know if the idea is that they want to look cool to their friends, or if we just really like that slogan, prepare to die. I don't know what happened there. But when I showed you how to play Bloodborne, you seem to have figured it out when I was done.
Right.
And the only difference between my attitude and other people's attitude who play these games is that they go in and be like, ah, 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 ah. And my attitude is, here are the mechanics. This is what you do.
Right.
And then you seem to mostly grab it. I don't think you played it to completion or anything, but
no.
You got it. You understood how it goes.
Right, and that's like I think that might be the big thing is grasping like the mechanics on that, because if you don't understand the mechanics of those games, they will punish the shit out of you. So you can't just run into it and just go wild like Red Dead Redemption and do okay. That's just not going to happen.
So why do you think the completion rate is so much lower for Red Dead Redemption as opposed to Dark Souls?
The game forces you to care about the mechanics and how to play, whereas Red Dead Redemption really doesn't give a damn what you do.
See, I feel like Red Dead is a fantastic game.
It
I
is.
don't want to knock it. The quest structure is good. The missions are fun. The story is fantastic. The ending is one of the best parts of the whole experience. So I don't understand. And for the record, when I say the ending, I'm not talking about the hidden ending. I'm talking about as far as the quest goes to where you don't know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, I'm not talking about that little bonus epilogue. I can't read the comments, but I can see a ton are popping their head in.
Okay, I'll read some of them to you really quick.
Yeah.
The reason why Eric can't see him is because I'm closer to the screen than he is. It's Catawolf, our good buddy who shows up every time. So he says, first comment is Dark Souls is tough, but not the toughest thing ever. Then he said, then again, I platinum all 3 games and Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I love Red Dead more than all GTAs combined.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I love Red Dead to death. I've definitely never platinumed a From Software game. I can see how it's doable. I don't think that From Software games are this monstrous thing. And I'm not saying this out of proudness. When I played Dark Souls 1, it took me forever to finally get it. The moment I did, I had a first encounter with 4 or 5 different bosses, and I beat them first go. That's all it is. It was just the click. And it felt literally like a click when it came to that point. It really felt like someone hit a switch, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait, now I'm good. It just magically popped up that I was good. Bloodborne, I had trouble again because it was so fast
Right.
to get back into it. But then it clicked the same way.
Right, if you play a Souls game and then you go into Bloodborne, that is like... I don't know, it's like playing Souls on speed.
A little bit. But it's also easier in different ways.
Yeah, it can be. I don't
Um,
think it's as punishing.
There's a lot more room for healing yourself in Bloodborne as opposed to Dark Souls.
Yes.
But at the same time, I kind of feel like the beginning areas are tougher in Bloodborne. Dark Souls takes a little bit before it gets really going. I'd say it's about 2 or 3 bosses in. Bloodborne pretty much starts right away. I mean, like, the second boss is still, like, considered one of the hardest. Not the hardest, but one of them to get over and accomplish.
Right.
And you'll get used to the vibe. But I guess the point is, it's just the reputation. It hasn't hurt sales.
No.
And this is what surprises me. It sells really high, but the completion rate is also really high. Which tells me that Joe Schmo has been able to beat this game as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that...
Probably took him a while.
It probably did, but they did it.
It's
So
possible.
why does it have this reputation of being the hardest goddamn thing on the planet Earth?
Yeah,
I get personal investment of feeling good about beating it, but I don't know why we're telling other people they can.
Right. In terms of it, I think it's just because, like I was saying, with like Red Dead or something like that, you can't just charge in and immediately just start going nuts like you can in other games. It forces you to learn the mechanics. It forces you to slow down and learn how to play. So people are like, well, this is really difficult. Mm-hmm. They say that because they don't want to learn. They just want to go through and experience the story and things of that nature. Which, there's plenty of story in a Souls game. Plenty of story in Bloodborne. But
Some of the best.
That's not the way a From Software game is played. You have to actually learn the mechanics and get, entranced in the game and become a good player in order to continue experiencing the story. I think that's the part where people get a little frustrated and
Even
think it's
then,
a hard game.
Finding the story is more complicated than beating the game in its own way. But it's the best story if you're able to do that.
Not to mention, there's little tidbits of story all over the place. There's a little bit here, a little bit there. So you really have to, again, play the game, become good, get entrenched in it to get all the story. Or there are parts you're going to miss unless you subscribe to something like VodiVidya and listen to him.
The best part of the narrative isn't even the actual text. I think it is the environmental stuff that goes on. Every single time you find an enemy in a location, that in itself is narrative. Because that is the enemy that exists in this location. Because they're very pinpoint and purposeful in every single moment of all these games. But more than just picking on Dark Souls as this super hard thing, I think it's interesting how community acts in terms of their own games. So, like, I look at the fighting game community, and it's kind of the exact opposite, where it's this super welcoming thing that says everyone should be here, this is the best, but has probably a way higher learning curve than Dark Souls. If you want to play tournament level for any of these games, it's going to take you a lot of time, and you never really get that many good tutorials in the first place. It's self-taught.
Right.
But you see the communities, and they're the most welcoming people in the world. They seem to act like everyone should just be on this level. This is just where you are. Be a part. We'll just do it. I have my fight stick. There's no question.
Right.
And it's interesting how those balance works.
Yeah. And that's in terms of the community, not like versus just like a random guy, because everybody's had somebody rage quit on you and then like send you a nasty message online. That's going to happen. But is that guy part of the fighting game community? You could say he is, but more than likely not. He just plays that game. Mm-hmm. In terms of like the actual fighting game community, if there's like a local fight night or something happening in your area and you want to go and play, these people are going to watch you and give you advice on how to improve even more. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be the welcoming type that wants you to be good because they want to have good matches and they want to see the whole thing improve. And in terms of it, since you brought that up, the biggest one I can think of, honestly, is the one that gets picked on the most when it comes to the fighting game community, and that's Smash.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. Most people in the fighting game community pick on Smash and say it's not a real fighting game. It should be low tier and laughed at.
I don't think we're there anymore, but where we are is that people in Smash are so specific, it's getting annoying. It's specifically the one on the GameCube. It has to use this controller. It has to be on this type of TV. And it seems to go farther and farther in the direction of specifics.
Right. They do like their specifics.
And I think that's a problem when you're trying to have... Like, compare that to... I use Street Fighter as my obvious because it's just the big one. Mm-hmm. And I'm like... These are guys that will just play on a... It doesn't matter what the screen is, or they're playing it at that input. They have their own controller. They might use the one there. You know? There's a lot less... I need it this way to do it.
There is that, but they're welcoming. They're incredibly welcoming in terms of, getting better at that type of gameplay. I mean, the one thing I can think of is like Nick and Ben from Screw Attack, mm-hmm. both really big fans of Smash and love to play it.
Rest in peace.
That's exactly what happened when they went to a tournament.
Well, I mean, Nick is still... I think he's working at Funimation now.
No, I think they're all still at Screw Attack.
No, are they? I could swear someone came to... Well, I got someone mixed up, though.
Yeah, in terms of it, Ben is still making videos and stuff. But, yeah, they went to a tournament, and they were not as prepared as they should have been. Mm. Got bodied for the world to see right there. Got destroyed. Mm-hmm. But the point is, these guys are not pros. They just walked in, decided they wanted to play because they're huge fans, and everybody was like, you guys are awesome. You make awesome videos online. Come play. And then afterwards, sorry we beat the hell out of you, but thanks for coming.
I think what's interesting, since we're just talking about community right now, it seems that all there is a gaming community that we think we understand, but it's actually just a bunch of tiny communities that are merged together.
Yes.
And I think it's fascinating how wild it is. Like you're a WoW player, right?
Yes.
That's community I couldn't imagine touching. That's a community I'll never be able to do. But I'm a 14 player, and they're some of the most welcoming people in the world. Now, the 14 guy might also be in other communities that exist. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to see him here, and I'm going to broadly talk about him, because we can broadly do that with any of these damn things. Dark Souls fans are smug pieces of shit that like a great game. 14 guys are the ones that are just like, I can't wait to play with a newbie, because we're just excited to have that little bonus.
Right.
I'm seeing the correlation between the type of game it is and the mechanics underneath that change it up. Because Destiny also has a really nice community, but Destiny's also a game where you can't fuck each other over unless you're in PvP. There's a cooperative nature to it.
Right.
And I think that's the real thing that does it. If you're playing Dark Souls, there is so much fun fucking each other over, writing messages on the ground and saying, hey, why don't you jump off this cliff? There'll be something there, and then there's nothing. But like a fighting game, because it's one-on-one, it's everyone getting up their personal skill, so you're rooting for each other. And a lot of the people are just spectators and they're yelling. An MMO is this cooperative thing. I think that's the thing. I think that's the secret. If you want to,
it's funny you mention that, because even like you take something like World of Warcraft, like you were talking about, and you would think, well, that's one gelled together community. Not even. It's actually 3 communities.
fuck them.
It's 3 separate communities going on. That's Eric's phone, by the way.
It's Florida calling.
It's Florida calling. Hello, Florida.
I don't know Florida.
Fuck off, Florida. So 3 separate communities there. One for just like base gameplay, lore, that kind of stuff. One for hardcore raiding.
Mm-hmm.
One for PvP.
Okay.
The hardcore raiding folks hate the PvP folks, and vice versa. And both of them think that the casuals are fucking horrible.
See, this is why 14's a better game, because our PvP is terrible. So everyone is there for the same reason. You're either raid or you're just casual. I'm casual, and that's fine. But
So it's
they
kind of
don't
like a
hate
nerf
each
or
other.
nothing moment there.
Pretty much. I mean, you could do the PvP. Why would you? It's there.
That sucks.
Well,
That really sucks,
Look,
because
I'm not-
that's a good part of
look,
MMOs.
they fixed it up. It's better than it has been, but I don't think there's a real community around it yet. I
That's a
say
shame.
that, and then you hold on. Yeah, it's pretty meh.
Mostly casual. PvP and Final Fantasy 14
See,
is
I
really
was
meh.
terrified for a moment that you were going to be like, I'm so into PvP, and I would be like, ugh. But I've never met someone who's really into PvP in 14. I love that game, but it's the PvE stuff that everyone seems to be into.
Yeah.
You know, which is fine. Everyone's pretty much on the same boat.
It's just so bizarre that, like, they try to make a game that wonderful, but they skimp on the PvP.
They originally had a mode that wasn't fleshed out, and then they started fleshing it out, and it's more there, but it just doesn't. Also,
There is a dueling area called Dueling Circle, and it's a square, says
Now-
Catalwolf.
that's true. But in the lore, it was explained, and I forgot what he said. It was some bullshit made up to justify it.
For the reason why it's called a circle and it has to be a square.
Yeah. That was literally a question given to the guy, and he answered it, and I forgot what he said. It
It's
was
just
something-
like it's kind of like a boxing ring, but it has 4 corners.
Pretty much.
Madness.
That hurt. I never realized that. I've never had to think about, I hate you. That's going to be in my head for a wrestling ring. Is
Yeah.
saying, oh my god.
Yeah, it's called a ring, but it's 4 corners.
Why have I never, like, put those pieces together
I'm
to
sorry.
make the... Oh, god damn it.
Actually, I'm not sorry.
I just wanted to walk off the
I
mat.
just wanted to...
For the audio people who don't know what I did.
Oh, he walked away and then he came back. He tried to run off and he was like, wait, I love being
I
on this
have done this
podcast.
in every fucking show I've ever been on. It's a joke that always is old before I even start it, and I do it anyway. I'm sorry, but it had to be done.
What do you think about communities for, like, retro collecting?
Do
Do you think that they're very welcoming?
You know, I don't know where they're at, because I'm so far away from that community. You're a lot closer than I am, because you have all these old games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the asshole that's just like, virtual console's good enough for me. Like, you own them, and I couldn't do that. I have to be poor with few games, but I feel like I'm getting a collection because I have so many digital games that Sony keeps throwing my way. And
So,
Steam.
I can talk about it and give my feelings of how retro collecting goes for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think that for the most part it is a very welcoming group. People will tell you, where to find really good deals and different things like that. So they want you to get into it. They want to help you collect and meet your goals for collecting, because ultimately there are certain things you want in your collection. The goal is not to just keep collecting until you're dead. I mean, that's a possibility, but that's not usually the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a lot of people who will help you with trying to figure out the best places to get the best things you need, maybe help you find a specific cart locally if it's something you really need or want for your collection. But then there's the humble brag.
Mm-hmm.
The humble brag where people are like, you'll show them a picture of your collection or something like, and be like, that's cool. Have you ever seen mine? And they'll shoot it back and it's like 10 times larger. And they'll just do that as a way to be like, yeah, that's cool, but you got a ways to go.
Yeah, I'd imagine. There has to be a smug...
There is smugness.
I'm going to sneeze at some point when it happens. I'm sorry. I'm allergic to the cats in this place.
Oh, 3 cats, man.
Man,
Jeez.
and they're shitty.
There is like some humble brag that goes along with it, but at the same time, the really cool thing about that, even though you know the other person's kind of being a dick, it does like, you know, encourage you to continue collecting and be like, well, fuck you, man. I'm gonna get the collection I want.
Yeah.
You can stick it to me all you want right now, but later on, I'm gonna have what I want.
I feel like I have a collection. I own 2 amiibos,
Ooh,
but they're both mother, so I feel like it was worth the collection. I got Ness and Lucas. I got the whole
whoa. Let's see.
set. Cost me $11.
Stevero said, I assume retro collectors don't want anyone in, so the prices don't get jacked up like crazy. In terms of, like, rare stuff, like, if you walk into, say you walked into a shop, and you had the money to burn, and you wanted to buy something rare from them, and you saw, say, maybe Chrono Trigger's hanging out, and you want Chrono Trigger, and somebody else walks in, they see Chrono Trigger as well, if they really want that Chrono Trigger in their collection that day, yeah, they'll fuck you over.
It seems like the most expensive thing to be a video game collector. Like, it really does, because there is a number that everyone seems to be trying to hit. There's so many classics for every generation, and I know there are people that just go in one direction and be like, I want to be just NES. Well, that's going to be thousands of dollars for that one.
Ask Pat the NES punk.
Exactly. And I look at that and I'm thinking, like, man, that's a lot of food you're sacrificing for that.
Yeah.
When I can just play all these games for free
Right.
on my computer.
Well, that's
It's
why I
not
say,
as
like,
nice, but it's far cheaper.
yeah, there is a goal, ultimately, when it comes to this. Like, specific things you want to have. Like, if they're rare
Like
ones...
Barbie on the NES, which you have.
I do have Barbie on the NES. I have not played it, but it's there. I
willing
could
to play
play it. I might play it after we're done, just to see what's going on.
I think I saw an AVGN episode
Yeah.
of Barbie.
Yeah, I popped it in, tried it, and assumed ultimately that it was garbage, and that was the end of it. But
And you kept it.
we could do that, hypothetically. Play Barbie on the NES.
I'm good. Rather play anything. Anything else.
But in terms of, like, specific stuff you want in your collection, sure, those are going to be the ones you save up for and you buy. But you don't want to just go over there and just be like, well, here's Skate or Die. I fucking hate that game, and then buy it for no reason. I don't think you should purchase games that you hate just to collect. Because then you run into the problem that Eric's talking about, where you're sacrificing food or other things that you could have in life,
I've
something
looked at
like
your
that.
collection. Okay, there's no way you're not breaking that rule. I've seen some bad things in that collection.
To be fair, a lot of those games I've had since I was a kid, and I didn't actually buy them.
You had a bad childhood with some of those games. That's all I'm saying. But
So there
he's
was
got
some
some
frightening
stuff.
things. Some frightening things there. Hey, is that Woody, man? How's it going?
oh my god.
Yeah, I think that's Woody there. But yeah, so I haven't done that very much there. I haven't gotten games that I just really hate just for the sake of having them. Except one. There was one I recently bought, and I'm going to admit it. I paid $4 for it. And I did this, Ikari Warriors.
I don't get it.
I
I don't
watched-
see what you're saying.
So
I think
AVGN...
it is a fine game for $4. It's not a good game. But like,
Have you played Ikari Warriors?
fine. It's mediocre.
I'm burning this apartment down.
Okay. Look, I'm not talking about played to completion, but if you're talking about an NES game you want to play for like 5 minutes, it fits the bill.
Okay, I'll
Like,
agree with that.
It's a $4 game. I bought Dance It's Your Stage for $15. So you want to
Why
talk
did you
to me-
do that?
Because there's a story with this.
I see.
Once upon a time, there was a roommate that I had in college, and he spent my money on DLC for Mass Effect 2. So then I stole his credit card and bought Dance It's Your Stage because I wanted to make him suffer with that payment. And I was one of the very few people on that leaderboard. We're no longer friends. That's a coincidence. But yeah, it wasn't a good game. It was on the Xbox 360, Dance It's Your Stage. And
I'm
it was
sorry.
It was impossible to complete. Because it was a rhythm game that even if you did everything perfect, you wouldn't get the ranking high enough to move on to the next stage.
This sounds horrible.
It's pretty good. Find it on YouTube, everyone. Dance It's Your Stage for the Xbox 360.
Dance at
Digital only. I don't think you can get it anymore. So,
Whew.
time forgot it.
That's awful.
Yeah. I wonder how big the community is for Dance It's Your State. Since there's a community for a lot of things. Shrek Super Slam is a big community now.
You are bringing that up again?
I always want to bring
Oh my god, with the Shrek
We looked
Super
up the
Slam.
price, but you didn't buy it. We
No.
were going to play it together.
No.
I'd buy it, but
I'll tell you
can't.
what. I'll tell you what. Here's what you can do. Since we're live right now, we're talking to everybody here. We're going to have a recorded version that comes out tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Guys, if you want to have me play Shrek Super Slam with Eric
me.
so badly,
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll play Shrek Super Slam. You know what to do. Go to the Patreon, throw a few bucks in for the month, and then I will buy Shrek Super Slam, and I will play the damn thing with Eric, and I'll probably drink a whole lot of whiskey while doing it.
I'll drink with you. Not the whiskey, but, you know. I mean, the difference is I'm going to be enjoying it because it's got Donkey in it, Puss in Boots, Fiona. Are there other characters?
Does it have the gingerbread man?
I assume. It probably does. Probably the dragon.
Sure, why not?
Maybe that's too big. I don't know. But I don't know. It feels like a major player.
A major player.
Yeah. It's probably MLG level. Oh, wait, no, that's exclusive to shooters now, isn't it?
Oh, my
Fuck.
God.
They ruined everything.
Oh, my God. I cannot believe that there really is, like, a competitive area for that game.
I mean, there's some irony there, I imagine.
I didn't believe you at first until my sister said it, too. And I'm like...
Oh, she knew. She knew what I was talking about, because it's that big. Just a fandom.
Horrible.
What is?
The fact that the game exists and there's a competitive scene.
Fucking... It feels offensive to say that. But, you know, that's your opinion. Of the world that we live in, that's pretty messed up. I think the worst fandom, though, and I was unfortunately in both of them, was Undertale / Mother. Those are the worst fandoms. They're great games, but they are the worst people.
Okay, so let's do
that
this.
Likes it. Yeah.
Let's do this. So why would you say they're the worst?
Because, and I was in this, you love something really hard and nobody else knows about it, so you keep trying to get the world to play it. Now, Undertale, they actually succeeded, but there were a lot of people that just, you know, everyone in the world did play it, and they just wouldn't shut up about trying to get more people to play it. And you hit your level. And Earthbound's kind of similar in that respect, where it was a cult thing that you wanted to share to everyone, but no one knew how to sell it. And that was a big problem. Because it's like, I can't tell you because there's spoilers involved. And you can't sell something like that.
No, you can't.
Now, I'm older and I really like Yoko Taro. And I'm in a lucky position where he has made games that I can never sell to someone because they're bad. With the exception of Nier Automata, which was great.
Yeah, he just showed me that game today. It was amazing.
But I don't have to force that one because it sold well, it did well, people are loving it, people are talking about it, and I feel like as a fan, I don't have to say anything. People are already finding it and exploring it. I'll show it off and be like, hey, you want to see this? I also did that with Persona for you. But, like, I don't feel the need to hunt people to play it. There's enough. It's growing.
Right. Kettle Wolf has a comment for you here.
Oh, no.
He said, I played Undertale. It was an okay game, but not worth the crazy praise it got.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's easy. It was very similar to Earthbound, and I viewed it at the time. I mean, a little more emotional, I guess, in its own way. Earthbound is something very, very special. But, like, it felt like that, but for a bigger audience. It's like, here's a more digestible version of Earthbound for people that don't want to play a JRPG. It's shorter, it does the job, it gives you that feel. It had some unique elements of its own that worked really well, and I really thought the story was interesting when you added in the dark side of the path. With that said, so many memes came out of it, and it became so iconic
right,
that it ultimately undid itself because it became known more for the memes than what it was.
Right.
And it's really unfortunate. Earthbound was ruined by the people that loved it because they wouldn't stop talking about it. I loved the soundtrack the first couple times I heard it. But, you know, you go to MagFest, I didn't, but every motherfucker was playing that one damn song over and over and over. I cannot hear that song again. Because every time I hear it, it's just, I've heard it way too much. And it's been overplayed. And that's the problem with Undertale, really. And it wasn't even a fault of the game. It's a fault of people that wouldn't stop.
I agree in terms of Undertale. The reason why I heard about it and decided to play it is, like you said, everybody just like, for that one summer, it wasn't it around the summertime?
I play at Christmas.
It was around some time, like a 3-month span, I recall. Everybody just constantly punched the idea of playing Undertale down your throat. Just constantly.
And it's more unfortunate because I try really hard to separate games from their fandom. Because I've fallen into that. Because usually when there's a giant cult following around something, that means there's at least something interesting about it. And I really try not to be jaded. And I've become jaded with something I actually liked a lot. And it's, that can happen. And it's unfortunate. But I do think whatever Toby Fox makes next, I'll be interested. Like, I'm excited to play whatever he wants to make. Mm-hmm. And I'll be ready to do it. But I don't think I can play Undertale again, unfortunately.
Right.
Not for a good while.
Yeah, I don't think it was the developer's fault for any of this. It was completely the fans' fault who, made it eat its own legacy, more or less. Yeah. Because these were the same people when there was like a greatest game of all time voting going on at Game FAQs. They were trying to push Undertale over like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and everything else, just saying this is the greatest game ever. There's no other argument.
They're so early. That that's what it is. It's the strength of the argument early on, like that kills these things. Like Nier Automata is probably my game of the year. I've said before, writing-wise, it might even be my favorite because the original was, and Automata's better, and I really do feel that way. Having said that, I'm not going to make that claim that it is the greatest game of all time yet, because it's fucking not been like 2 months.
Right.
I need to sit on that. Like, that's not an opinion I can make for at least 2 years to have the historical relevance of where something lines up.
No, I understand. Fandom will make things go completely insane. It's the same thing, like... And this frenzy was actually started by people reviewing the actual game, so I can't blame fans 100%, but Breath of the Wild. It's a great game. I'm not saying it's not, guys.
Terrible game.
I'm not saying it's not a great game or something like that. It is great.
Yeah.
If you own a Wii U or a Switch, you have to own this game. But it is not a 10 out of 10. It's not.
I disagree. I haven't even... And what I mean by that is I don't give 10s like it's this fucking medal that can never be achieved. I think a lot of things are 10s. Because I can go back to a lot of things over the years and replay them and enjoy them just as much over the years. Ocarina is not a perfect game, but it is a 10. How do I know it's not perfect? Because I played that stealth section like fucking everyone else, and we all talk about the water temple. Like, there were flaws in that game. Try aiming that bow and arrow for the shooting gallery. That was miserable. But, who cared? It was revolutionary.
Well, I would say, in terms of that, maybe the Switch version might be a 10, but the one I'm playing, the Wii U version, ain't a 10.
Maybe.
That's the way I'm putting that, at least.
10 for me is not saying it is a perfect game. 10 is a game that I will return to years and years from now, and I'm going to enjoy it just as much as I did now. And that a lot of games fit a 10. And if I'm going to talk about recent games, I would give Persona 5 a 10, because I gave Persona 4 a 10, and I can tell that it's going to have the same impact on me. If I want to go back, Mass Effect 2 was a 10. It deserved that 10, because I go back to Mass Effect 2, and I love it just as hard.
Yeah, that was
still a great game.
Great game, yeah.
And there are a lot of games that are 10s for me. Katamari Damacy is a 10 for me because I play that all the time, and it always puts a smile on my face. Which is why I'm not a critic, because I couldn't give that a 9.25 because it wasn't revolutionary.
Eric's a easy to please guy.
Not necessarily. I give
when it comes to good stuff.
10s go to things that I know I will always love. That is a 10.
So Kettle Wolf asks a question here. Oh my. What about the Sonic the Hedgehog fan base?
Oh, that's the best fandom. By far. Oh my god. Where do we begin? So, I think Sega is self-aware of this. You've seen their Twitter. They know. That Totino's picture is one of the greatest pictures the internet ever gave us. I never want Sonic to be good. I'm not rooting against it. I just don't want it to be good. I want it to always be that joke. Because it makes me smile. When a Sonic Boom comes out and I see people trying to defend it, I smile. when I see the weird half furry but not porn but still kind of in that realm of deviant art, I'm like, there are people that draw this and believe in it, and it's beautiful. Sonic fans... Sonic hasn't had a really great game since 3.
Yeah, I could agree.
Generations is a good game.
Would you consider Sonic and Knuckles? Because I don't think that came out exactly at the same time.
That is 3 to me.
Okay.
Sonic 3 and
Fair
Knuckles.
Enough. Okay.
Yeah, after that, there's been no great Sonic game. There have been good ones. I love Sonic Adventure 2, but I also love it in that cheesy, it's a terrible game that I enjoy. And I know that. Running around at the speed of sound is like one of my favorite songs. But it's terrible.
Oh, it's awful.
I love it, though.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
That whole game is a mishmash of terrible moments that are all funny. And that's what makes me enjoy it. And it is objectively bad, too. I mean, the audio levels for the voice acting is sometimes undercut by the music. Like, that's when you know. That's when you know you got mwah going on.
How would I describe the Sonic community? For the people who seriously believe in Sonic and they're like, next game he's coming back, guarantee it, next game he's coming back. It's like the worshippers who refuse to believe that God is dead. They just won't give up.
Wow, that's an offensive way to put that one.
It's true. It's like the people who just refuse to believe that it's over.
I'm under the belief that the best Sonic can be, and this is not an insult, the best it can be is pretty good. That's the best you're going to get. Generations was pretty good. It wasn't perfect. The second half sucked.
I didn't think it was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it straddled the line of okay and then started going into Shitville.
Oh, it went to shit, but when it was good, it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. Those first couple stages were pretty good. Well, yeah, Sonic Adventure 2
the beginning was
good,
and then it just died.
Good. But that's as much as it can be. Even if they just made a game out of the best moments of Sonic Generation, pretty good. Because, unfortunately, they made a character that's the character will always be 90s, and will always be, gotta go fast with the chili dog in my mouth. That's as much as he can be. He can't emote. You can't emote with Sonic, but he has to talk. This is where Mario figured its shit out. Mario barely speaks. So you can do whatever you want with him, and he'll be a mute, and he'll just be happy, and he'll be there. Sonic has 90s edge, and he can never lose the 90s. He will always be. Yo, guys, what's up? Aren't I cool? Gotta go fast. Gotta catch up to my chili dogs and run around in a ring. Oh, it's Robotnik. Ain't he bad? And ironically enough, I think Crash Bandicoot aged a lot less than Sonic did. Even though Crash Bandicoot was a parody of Sonic when it came out. It was the same idea.
So was Gex.
Yeah, well, Gex...
Could you imagine, like, playing Gex right now and just hearing those lines?
Gex was not a straight parody, though, in the same way. Crash Bandicoot was literally mad scientist creates thing that fights against it. That's the story of Sonic. It was identical. But the difference is it went for this cartoon vibe instead of an edge vibe. So Crash Bandicoot actually ages pretty well if you go back because it just feels like a cartoon, which can exist forever. Like, it's timeless. Mm-hmm. Sonic's edgy. Sonic's gotta be cool. Sonic's gotta fuck a girl. Or at least that was in the reboot.
Oh, it just never ends. By the way, hello, Poe.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, you're seeing my face. I'm sorry.
Yep. He's here.
Oh, wow.
Eric is live with me this week.
Yeah.
So let's
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, I don't know who I am.
No, I meant not you, the other one. The one that has monkey DTT.
Oh, I don't know who I am either. I still don't know.
I guess I'm you now.
Oh. We're us.
It's too confusing, especially for the people listening to the audio.
God, this is the Twilight Zone of episodes.
Speaking of Twilight Zone, are you excited for that Twilight Zone video game coming out?
No. Okay. What are you talking about?
Ken Levine from Bioshock fame is working on a Twilight Zone. That's old news. It's going to be like Telltale style.
Oh, that's...
Could be good.
Could
He's a good writer sometimes.
So
Not really.
to wrap it up here, here's
Yeah.
a good question that Catawolf has. This is going to be primarily for you. I'm going to be in the dark on this
2
one.
out of 10.
I don't know if you want to say that yet. Yeah, so the subject of Earthbound, do you think Nintendo will ever localize Mother 3?
No,
Why?
because they hate me. Mother 3 is a game that has been around longer for us to play, longer than I can imagine at this point. I mean, it's been how many years? I forget when that game came out. Mother 3 is a game that is already translated, that they could easily get the rights for that translation because those people have been offering it forever. Reggie has been making jokes about the fact that Mother 3 hasn't happened yet. Keep your eyes out forever, to the point where you remember that Robot Chicken sketch? Yeah, they know. And here's the thing. It would have happened already. The Earthbound coming back thing was a godsend. I don't even know how that happened. But Mother 3? No. No, it ain't happening. And the reason is because they want you to keep buying Nintendo products and keep watching every year so your dreams come true.
It's not a bad strategy if that's seriously what it is.
I am at the point now where I no longer care. Mother 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, but I've played it, feels like 8 years ago. It's not new to me. It'd just be the official release. As much as that's all it would mean. Is, hey, now I can legally buy it. That's it. I don't care anymore. I don't think they'll do it. And if they do it, there's going to be a catch. They're going to find a way to fuck it up. And I don't know what that would be. Maybe they would, like, change the gender of the characters. Maybe they would just rewrite the script to make it happier. Because the story's pretty dark.
Release certain portions with Amiibo.
They would definitely have to get rid of the monkey because the animal abuse. They're just... The bathhouse situation doesn't make sense for American audiences. It ain't happening. It's not coming out. We have a bigger chance of Earthbound 64 coming out than Mother 3.
Do you think that, like, every day when Reggie walks in the office, he just has a portrait of you that he flips off before he sits down at his desk?
No, not me. It just says Mother fans.
Oh.
And I still don't know how the Earthbound situation happened where they brought both the original Mother and Mother 2 on Wii U. I imagine it went something like, look, we'll throw them a bone, but we're going to charge them more money for no reason because fuck them. And
well, what is the price for them on there?
I think it's $2 more than a regular SNES game.
Wow.
I don't know why. It was just a little fuck you bonus.
That is.
To that expense.
That seriously is. If they have, like, no explanation or reason to do that, you're absolutely right.
Because they know we'll buy it. And love it. Buy Earthbound, everyone. Pretty good.
Well, I mean, that's pretty decent logic. If you know that they're going to pay more for it, if you threw $2 more on, which would be like, say, a 35% increase in the price, and you know they're going to buy it anyway, why not?
The funniest thing is, there was a reason that Earthbound didn't get re-released for so long. It's because there are music rights that people were scared of. There's music that sounds like other music, and they literally took samples from famous songs to make music out of. But the legal department eventually said, it's fine, and then they released it. Mother 3 didn't have that problem. There's no excuse. They're just doing it to be assholes. That's it.
It's kind of like with Splatterhouse when they were afraid that, like, because obviously the guy is Jason Voorhees rip, but, you know, the copyright law is more lenient in Japan, so they could get away with it there. And they thought it would be a problem over here, but it hasn't been. At
this point, I think if they do ever release Mother 3, it would be a remake rather than a port. Because it is a GBA game. And the art style... You ever see the art style for Mother 3?
No.
It's very different. It was entirely... Like, they made all the character models based off clay models, which they did in Earthbound as well, but it really looks like the clay models. So right. I could see them going full hand over fist with it and make a clay-looking remake out of it. Something like Woolly World, except with clay instead of yarn.
That would be interesting.
I could see that happen. They'll never make a Mother 4, but I could see that happening.
That would actually be...
And it wouldn't come to America.
It wouldn't come to America.
Because fuck
I was going to say, that would be a great Switch seller. Nah, Eric says fuck that.
I won't. It'll come. Just not here.
Oh. That's perfect. In all the wrong ways.
And it'll be in English, too. In the Japanese. They'll have it in English. We just won't get it.
They'll have it... Well, if that's the case, remember, Switch is region free.
Oh, no. It'll be digital only. So you won't have a chance.
Wow. So you'd have to like have a Japanese Switch imported.
Yeah.
And like pay out the fucking face if you wanted to play this game. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's the plan. It'll be the only game on the Switch that's region locked too.
Perfect, Nintendo. Perfect.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fantastic. Well, we're going to wrap this thing up because we've had a great discussion this week with communities, Dark Souls, all sorts of madness. It's been a fun episode.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog being dead and no one wanting to admit it. He's like the rotting corpse in the basement and everybody keeps trying to pop him up.
He's perfect. He's better.
Oh.
He's been better ever since Rouge the Bat showed up and became the sex symbol of a generation. That's when Sonic became... Oh, you're just now realizing that Rouge the Bat was meant to be sexual?
I didn't even know that was a character.
How are you a fan of Sonic?
I'm not.
What the fuck? Do we have to play Sonic?
No.
I figured Shrek Super Slam would have been enough for you.
I will play Shrek Super Slam before I'll play that.
What's Shrek?
Yeah, I will play that 100% before we play any Sonic garbage. I'm good.
Oh, that was even one of the better. It was Sonic Adventure 2, a game that's at least a 6.5.
No, that's fine. We're good. Okay. We're good. All right, so with this episode being wrapped up, I'm Patrick. Tell them who you are, Eric.
Guess I'm Eric.
You guess. He doesn't know who he is.
Monkey? I don't know. Throw names in there.
He's a person. We're out of here. Thanks for showing up with the microphone falling over. Have fun.